in the last draft that we did of the songs, I really should have taken Nelly's Here Comes the Boom.
The wedding?
Yeah, what?
For what?
For what?
For childhood songs.
Childhood songs.
Oh, I was thinking the wedding.
For a second, I was like, did we do a draft about songs that people used in football highlight edits?
Right, that's why, because it was it was like every edit of my childhood that I watched hours and hours and hours, and then also it was in like my favorite movie growing up too.
Yeah, and
that's true.
It was Here Comes the Boom and
Hell and Back, Kid Ink.
Yeah, that was every other edit was Here Comes the Boom or Hell and Back by Kid Ink. Speaking of Kid Ink, what happened to him? He's still making music?
I have no idea.
I don't actually know who Kid Ink is. Am I a loser?
Kid Ink was
awesome. He was one of the guys. I mean,
he was one of the guys.
That was a weird time. I was thinking about this the other day where like there was a lot of music when I was in middle school and high school that felt like it was only for us and for nobody else.
Yeah.
And like once you've grown past that, it's gone forever, and the people that weren't in it will never appreciate it.
Yeah.
And it feels like maybe Kid Ink is part of that.
Might have been one of those guys.
Might be part of that group where it's like maybe the kids now don't appreciate
Time
Kid Ink.
Flies.
Yeah.
Time Flies.
That's
was
true.
huge like that.
Yeah, that was our
Sammy
generation.
Adams was also my absolute favorite, and I don't know if like the kids appreciate Sammy Adams now.
Yeah. Even someone simple like Nick Patera, we've talked about him, was also our kind of niche.
Which I think we need to follow up. It's good that you brought that up because the follow up is the names we couldn't think of, which I feel awful. As a sin to not remember. Kurt Hugo Schneider was the producer of what we were trying to remember was For Good, the cover of For Good from last time. If everybody that's paying attention, okay, you're keeping your
mom and dad, you got your string in your
balls. It's Kurt Hugo Schneider and Sam Suey.
Yeah, Sam Suey.
How do you forget Sam Suey? You morons.
Yeah, Sam Suey he's cool too. He got the big hair.
The big hair, the swoopy hair.
Yeah.
I looked at so after we did that, I was like, I gotta learn these names. So I looked and I learned the names, and I was watching a bunch of old Kurt Hugo Schneider stuff and Alex Goot stuff.
Yeah.
And I texted Greg. I didn't realize that Max, the singer Max, is Max Schneider. Kurt Hugo Schneider's brother.
What the heck?
And I'm going back, I'm looking at all these old Kurt Hugo KHS videos, Kurt Hugo Schneider, and Max is in like all of them. It's funny. It's Kurt Hugo Schneider featuring Max and Victoria Justice, or featuring Max and I don't even know, Keke Palmer.
Yeah.
It's always somebody. And it was Max. So here I am, egg on my face for not making that connection. And then Greg texted me back. He's like, yeah, I think everybody knows that.
I felt like I did know that.
Yeah. And I might have too, but I had forgotten. Look at us. So roll the intro.
Who are you telling to do that?
You're telling Greg.
Editor?
Yeah. All right. Jamie.
Roll the intro.
Jamie.
Every time we have to come up with a different editor name.
Because we're talking about today, one of the things I want to talk about was concerts. And Time Flies was a concert that Greg and I went to.
My first ever concert.
And it was dope as heck.
Was that in the cities or where was it?
No, it was in Fargo at the Hub.
Oh, the Hub in the venue.
Yep. It was the only time I went to the Hub, and it was my first concert ever.
I went to the Hub twice. And so anyway, this is what I kind of wanted to say was first concert that you ever went to, most recent concert that you went to, and your best concert that you ever went to.
Mm-hmm.
My first concert that I ever went to, that I went as a 6th grader to a Mercy Me concert.
Yeah.
And it was kind of with a group. It was someone else's church. Chase brought me with his church group to go see Mercy Me. So technically that was my first, and Toby Mac was there.
Mercy Me is awesome, by
They're
the way.
great.
And Toby Mac also awesome.
But I was sixth grade. I had never been to a concert before. We were sitting way in the back.
Mm-hmm.
So like my first real concert experience though was Grizz. Does anybody, show of hands in the back, y'all know who Grizz is? You guys mess with Grizz?
So mom and dad, do you know who Grizz is?
Like our live studio audience.
To the live studio audience, show of hands, Grizz?
Jaden, have you ever heard of Grizz?
Grizz.
Kyle?
Let me put you on to Grizz really quick. So I'm hijacking the episode already.
Do you even need us for this?
No, you guys can go. Ozzy, my friend Ozzy, was in my Spanish class. There was a group of us in Spanish that always kind of hung out and dorked around during class instead of learning Spanish. In the Spanish class, it was during the time of day when the radio was running this contest, a call-in contest to win tickets to go see Grizz, somebody that we did not know. So Ozzy calls in during Spanish class, and he wins the Grizz tickets. So he wins 2 tickets to Grizz. And it was, you can either get tickets to Grizz or tickets to something else. You got to pick. And he picked Grizz, even though we don't know who Grizz is. So 2 of us get to go to Grizz for free, and then the rest can pay, and we'll all go see Grizz. The next day, they ran the contest again, and Ozzy called in and won again. So now we have 4 tickets to Grizz.
Oh my gosh.
Certainly, we couldn't do it a third time. The third day. And on the third day, he was awarded 2 more Grizz tickets.
Was nobody else calling?
No, for sure. Nobody
also,
else.
whatever the other tickets you could win, no one got them because it was just 6 Grizz just for us. So then we got to go see Grizz for free. I take a shot every time I say Grizz.
That's hilarious.
And we didn't know who he was, but we got to the concert and it was like, my mind was exploded all over the floor. It was at the Hub. He does like this electric saxophone, live mixing, live beat making, laser light show thing. It's insane.
He's electronic Ed Sheeran.
It was so freaking cool. So we went to that. It was like the first real concert experience I ever had that I can remember. I might have, maybe it wasn't the first one, but it was the first one that really sticks in my head. And then we went to Thanksgiving, and I told Ryan, who we all know now. Ryan. And Ryan was like, "You saw Grizz?" Because Ryan's a big like DJ nerd type of guy. So I felt really cool. Like, oh, I got to go to a Grizz show. Maybe I didn't appreciate it at the time, but now I do. I'm like, wow, I got to go to a Grizz show. So that was my first
Who all went
real
with you?
experience. It was me and Ozzy, our friend Ethan. I'm just like naming everybody that I went to school with because there's not very many of us. Andrew, Justin. I think that was the 6 of us that went. Fun group. Awesome.
Very fun.
Just our Spanish class, basically. Because we were like, well, I gotta go too. And we're like, get 2 more tickets. Just call them tomorrow. They're giving them to Aussie only.
Yeah, exactly. I still don't even know like any of Grizz's music or anything like that.
No, I mean you wouldn't. It's just like electronic
DJ kind of stuff.
So you wouldn't. Not something you would have just like randomly stumbled upon. Probably.
But that was your first real concert experience?
I think. I mean, I wrote a list down, but that's the first one that came to mind.
Yeah. What was your first?
And I was
one?
like, the reason I felt like first. Sorry. Shh, everybody quiet. I'm still talking about Grizz. Was because like
no one knows Grizz or cares about Grizz.
I'm explaining to you that they do, and you just don't know them because they're not local. I don't even know if Grizz might be like Slovakian or something. I don't know where he's from.
Yeah, so then they're really going to be dialed in on
the
this.
Thing is, he got like 1 million monthly Spotify listeners. Anyway, we were right up in the front. That's why, because we got there early. We were like so hyped to go see Grizz to learn who he was, like for the first time. So we were in the front row, speakers blasting our ears. I still get ringing in my left ear from time to time because of it.
And that was probably because of Cap Slap.
Grizz
and
rapper,
we were right up in the front. We will talk about Cap Slap. But that's why it was like my first real, we were down in the pit, getting sweaty, getting grimy, getting disgusting. Me and the boys at our free Grizz concert. It was one of the best high school memories that I have.
He is known for playing saxophone along with producing funk, electro, soul, and self-described future funk music.
Future funk. That is how I would describe it as well. So it's self-described and Scott-described.
He's from Michigan.
Wow. What did I say? He was from Slovakia? There you go. That was my first and one of my fondest concert experiences.
Okay, can one of us speak now?
If you must.
Okay, Greg. Jeez. What was your first concert?
How far are we in?
All right, Greg.
Flies, Cap Slap, and was Down with Webster there, or were they at
Yeah,
G-Eazy?
that was I couldn't think of the name.
They were there.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't remember if they opened for G-Eazy or Time Flies.
Yeah, it was.
Because Down with Webster, they went first. And we're like, yo, these guys are crazy. Like, they were really good, and everyone was vibing. And then we thought Time Flies was next. No.
Oh, wait, you've been saying Cap Slap, and I'm like, what is he talking about? That was
it went Down with Webster. It was
like
like one of the best openers I've seen. And then Cap Slap came out, and like, no disrespect to Cap Slap. I hope he's improved his game, but
I don't think it was Cap Slap's fault. Can we? Here's what happened. Sorry, Laura. So we got there and it was like the opener was great and short, and then Cap Slap went second, is what you're saying, and he had to fill way too big of a time slot. Yeah. So he just kept going. And was he the one that kept spraying water?
He took, he just like squeezed barbells. Yeah, he did that like 8 times.
He did it so many times.
1, 2, 3, go.
And everyone just starts to scream as in
it's like you're a freaking SeaWorld.
Eventually it was like, all right, stop giving me water
drenching
bottles.
me with water.
We're all sitting here soaking wet like 3 hours into just like DJ music.
That's really funny.
Down with Webster is a really good like kind of punk rock.
Yeah, they were like
pop
alternative punk, and it was fun and good.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah, so it was a total vibe change. And he would have been great if it was shorter or if it was at a different.
He was also way too loud.
That happens a lot at concerts. It is way too loud.
Yeah.
We're losers.
Yeah, I know.
Concerts are way too loud.
I disagree with that heavily. The Cap Slap was too loud.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring those little ear plug things to Post Malone.
Are you?
Yeah, in May. I can't do it. We're so close to the front. By the way, a little.
Do you get to meet him? I hope you get to meet him.
I highly doubt it.
Oh, that'd be great.
He'll see you.
He's like,
whoa,
he might see you.
Stops
He
the
might
show.
see you.
Down here?
Get up here, man.
Scott Cramer's here.
Hey.
Is that in the cities or where are you going for that?
It's in
U.S. Bank, right?
Yeah, U.S. Bank.
That'll be so fun. Posty. Oh, that'll be fun.
We
That'll
saw
be great.
Posty. Speaking of concerts.
Yeah,
sorry, Laura.
Didn't you?
Greg and I saw Post Malone.
Sorry, Laura, as if I wasn't also telling my story and then he just hopped in. Like, this is Scott's episode.
We can talk about this later if you want. If you want to keep going, we can talk about Post Malone after.
Well, I was at that one too.
Yeah,
me and
Greg
my
was
boy
there.
Brandon went to. That was Bieber.
It was Bieber.
And we didn't have even a remote clue who Post Malone was. Like we were driving, so it was me, Brandon in the back, Scott and Jaden were in the front.
Yep.
And we were going like, who are the openers? I'm like, I don't know. So we looked
them up.
Jaden was like Post Malone and Halsey was there. I think Halsey was there.
Halsey?
Yeah, I think she was there.
Two absolute bangers.
We
my
walked
goodness.
into a banger concert
Didn't even
without
know
any
it.
clue what we were getting ourselves into.
We're like, well, who's Post Malone? And the fact that Scott, of all people, is like, who's Post Malone? That's crazy. But she was like, well, he does the White Iverson.
Yeah. Saucy,
So we're like, oh, yeah, I kind of know that song or whatever. And now he's like the biggest star on the planet.
Yeah. But we saw him and he came out and I was like, who's this goober?
Yeah,
well, yeah, because in 2015, he looked like a completely different person.
Long curly hair. He was just kind of like doing the peace sign all the time. And I was like, this guy.
The dreads.
And then he won me over immediately. The dude, I mean, he was nailing it.
Yeah, we liked him.
I was like, he's so good. And he was so much fun. And he did the whole thing where he's like, peace and love to everybody. I just want everybody to love each other. And I was like, what a sweet guy.
And now he still says that exact same thing all the time.
I'm like, what a sweet guy. I loved it. So it was like, it was awesome. Unexpected awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's like, I saw Post Malone in concert, but it was at a Justin Bieber concert.
Yeah.
In 2015.
In 2015.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It might have been 2016.
Well, it was from the album that came out in 2015. So it was either 15 or 16.
I remember he's saying, I wet my tears where my money at.
Oh, I suppose, no, it probably was 16 because Iverson, yeah.
Yeah, it was summer 2016.
I'm talking like the Bieber album came out in 15.
If I would have known. If I would have known it could have been you. And they were up on the rafters, and then they sang Baby, and he went wakeboarding at our lake.
He did go wakeboarding
so
on
fun
DL.
Stuff happened that weekend. And we hung out with Justin Bieber all weekend?
Just for a little bit. We got busy.
No, you guys got to go to the Bieber concert, and I was supposed to go to the one in Fargo and take pictures of it. I was supposed to be a media pass and get to go for
the
free.
One that we were at?
No, the one in Fargo.
That was in Fargo.
Oh, I thought you guys went to Minneapolis for it.
I went to Minneapolis like 2 years ago to see him again, but no, Fargo was 2015, 16.
Yeah, so I was supposed to go to that, and I was supposed to have a media pass because I worked for Spotlight at the time and was going to take pictures to put into the magazine. But then Mike and Kelsey, so Mike owns Spotlight, and his wife Kelsey, who's a friend of ours, got married that same day. And I ended up last second having to fill in as the second shooter at their wedding.
Oh, man.
So I didn't get to go to the concert, but I did get to photograph Mike and Kelsey's wedding, which was pretty fun.
That's tough because it's like, hey, boss, don't ruin this for me.
Yeah.
Send me on
He was going to send me to the show for free, but then he's like, no, come to my wedding, please.
No, you have to come to my wedding. You have to pay to be at my wedding, actually. It's the opposite. Opposite day.
It was a fun day. It was a fun day. Kelsey's awesome, too. And so was Mike. And it was a great day.
I like those two. I worked at Spotlight for a little bit, too.
Yep.
Yeah,
they're good people.
But I didn't mean to hijack.
Sure again.
You did. I did.
You did.
I did. I totally did.
I planned that. But Greg was talking about the Time Flies concert.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I was kind of done with that. I mean, the only other thing that was even notable was how cool Time Flies was himself. Like he even did his whole thing.
Well, it's Cal and
Rez. The whole because their whole spiel was how good Cal was at freestyling, and he did it in front of us. It was sick.
Yeah, he did it without skipping a beat. They threw up all of like the Fargo related words.
Yeah, he did all the Fargo stuff.
That's
and
crazy.
He just ripped it off.
He somehow, I don't know how he teed up, but he got the whole crowd where it was very clear he was going to end his bar with Sue Suck.
Yeah.
And it was insane.
That's awesome.
The whole place is going crazy. That's like all the Bison, NDSU, UND, just like the biggest rivalry. So he got everyone to go after UND, and it was sick.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Did they have like lights and stuff at their show or not really?
No,
I kind of pictured them as people that would have lights going.
Not so much. No, I think their show was very simple, actually. It was basically just those two up there kind of doing their thing. I think Down with Webster had lights, though. So like the opener had kind of a light show, and then Cal and Rez didn't
I could totally see Time Flies having lights, though. It feels like it would be their vibe.
That was kind of surreal because they were, in my brain, like celebrities because I'm a big YouTube nerd, so they were like big on YouTube, and all of us at Kindred loved Time Flies. We'd like share their music with each other. but they weren't like some super popular group by any means. It was just really cool to see them because they felt like big celebrity stars.
Yeah. Yeah. My first concert that I went to, I'm pretty sure was Super Chick, which is also a Christian band.
Mm-hmm.
At the Civic Center. Got to go see them. And that was actually a really fun show. They did a great job.
Is Super Chick, I picked one of their songs for the draft last week,
Yep.
didn't I?
Yeah, I think you did.
The
Barlow
Girl?
Barlow Girl.
Girls?
Yep. I think that was probably my first concert. But
Yeah,
I've been to quite a
that.
few concerts with you guys that made it on my like top list too.
You went to Hawk Nelson too when you were
Yep,
young.
I got to go to Hawk Nelson and Skillet together. Skillet was the opener.
Oh, Skillet.
No, sorry. Hawk Nelson was the opener for Skillet.
What's the song from the WWE game from 2010?
Monster.
Hero.
A Hero. No, they're both in it. Are they both in there?
Hero's in it. I don't think Monster
Hero.
is.
I gotta look those up.
Monster's one of their more
Monster's
popular.
like the most famous
I
one.
feel like a monster.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. What is Hero? Why do I not remember that? I like Hero better.
I
need a hero to save me now. I need a hero to save me now. Okay, I do know it. It's in my bones.
hero's gonna save me.
Just in time.
That was just straight muscle memory right there. That's what that
crazy.
was.
Holy smokes. I just hopped up on the ripstick again.
WWE has a lot of good music. Like that Kofi Kingston walkout was sick.
SOS.
SOS.
Yeah, that was a banger.
That was a banger.
Good
But no,
stuff
one of
in
my
there.
favorite concerts that I ever went to was when the three of us and Jaden went to the Basilica Block Party in
Yeah, 'cause
Minneapolis.
that was probably the best. I don't know if you call them an opener, but Judah and the Lion was probably
They
the
did
best.
awesome.
It was a festival, so I don't know if that's called an opener, but
Yeah, they were
like
Yeah.
they were one of the-
pre-act.
but they
best
were
I've
one
seen.
of the feature acts.
Yeah, they just weren't the
Right.
headliner.
Yeah,
the
I wouldn't-
headliner was Andy Grammer.
Yeah, I wouldn't call them an opener, but if you would, they were the best opener I've
They
seen.
were
Yes.
awesome.
Yes, but Andy Grammer absolutely killed it. It was, and it's just such a fun location, like on the lawn
And
of
it
the
was
Basilica.
a really perfect day.
Yep.
We got lucky.
We got
Yep.
a good spot too because it was like not
You're
a,
on the-
if you're
the ridge of the hill.
Yes, there was like a tree with a big root sticking up, and we kind of like were up on the hill
Yep.
looking down. at
Do you remember the
show.
tall man that came and stood right in front of me and Sandy?
Yeah.
Dude, did we move because of him?
We kind of had to. So it was the three of us and Jaden, and then my two friends, Sandy and Becca. And both Sandy and Becca are very short. And we're on the hill. We're in a perfect spot. And the music just started. And this man, who I'm not
Slender
kidding is
man.
6'7",
Yeah.
comes and stands right in front of us, just by himself. He didn't come with anybody. He was by himself, and he stood right in front of us.
I think John Quinones was hiding in the back.
I
and
think
that
so,
was the,
too.
What would you do?
And we're all just standing there like, we're too nice to make this
Whatever.
dummy move.
Tall
He could go
man.
right behind us and we'd all be fine,
Yeah.
but no.
He could have stood anywhere.
He could have stood on the interstate and seen just fine.
Yeah, the Basilica was great because he did so I saw Andy Grammer twice.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if he still does it, but when we went, he did the thing where he was live looping too.
Yeah. Yep.
And is so cool.
Yeah, he did that
to
at
see it.
Trollwood, but he didn't do it at the Basilica.
Oh, he didn't do it at Basilica?
I
No,
thought
he
he
did
did something like
might.
that. You
Because
said at
I know he didn't because I've seen him several times, but I didn't see him at Blue Stem, and I've never seen him do it.
Oh, okay.
Didn't
so-
you say Ed Sheeran also did
Yeah,
that
the
with his
whole
foot pedals?
show.
It's so
But I
cool.
saw Ed Sheeran at the Fargo Dome, and that might be the most impressive show I've seen, other than
Yeah, he's
maybe John
unbelievable.
Bellian. But
Yeah, John Bellion's unbelievable.
For the 19 people that are watching, they're thinking these are the whitest Midwestern people. They like the Andy Grammer concert. Oh, they went to the Ed Sheeran concert.
Super Chick and
the
Mercy
Super
Me.
Chick. Oh, they saw Hawk Nelson. But
saw
guess
Juice
what?
WRLD?
Haters. I saw Juice WRLD, and I hate to say it. I think it was the worst concert experience I've ever had.
yeah,
I can tell you the worst one.
But
I
it was
ever had.
not Juice WRLD's fault. Okay.
Yeah.
To be fair, it was. They had no less than 20 openers.
Oh
and
my
we were there
gosh.
including my buddy.
for like 30 hours. Yeah, Mill.
Yeah,
And Mill did great, honestly. Mill did like 2 songs, quick, boom, boom, in and out. But they kept having this guy. His name was like Miami Joe or something. He kept coming out in between each of the 30 openers that were there. And he was
Oh my
mad. And he was like,
gosh.
get hype or we're leaving. I was like, and he kept
Like,
threatening
all
that
right, I
Juice
guess
was
we're
not
gonna
going to
leave.
show up.
he knew how
my
good
God.
Juice was. He's like, this guy's revolutionary.
I
You
swear-
don't know it yet, but he's going to be the best in the game.
I swear he said the phrase, y'all motherfuckers ain't hype enough. Probably
10 times.
30 or 40
he knew
times.
Juice was the next
He
great
just kept
one.
saying, and it was like people were getting more and more antagonistic
Yeah,
against
more
him.
and more like, okay, we're gonna
It was
leave,
like
guy.
Every time he came out, they were like, boo. And then people started, and this is, I don't condone this, but they gave everybody bracelet or like globe bracelets, and they started throwing the globe bracelets at the guy at Miami Joe or whatever. And he was like, if you throw one more bracelet, Juice is
We're
not
leaving.
coming out. And then it's just like bracelets go
Yeah.
more.
Oh my
And
gosh.
Juice was late, like an hour and a half late.
Yeah.
And he was just not, I think the other thing was like, oh, Juice doesn't have his voice tonight, so he's not really going to sing.
Oh my gosh.
Like, what's happening?
Why are we here?
Because not many people got to go to a Juice WRLD show. Like, he didn't tour for very long. And I'm one of the few. And it was like, I wish I could say that I loved it, but it was like really stressful. The guy just kept coming out and yelling at us. Miami Joe?
Getting yelled at is not what you want when you're paying to be there.
No.
I got to go see, on a very different note, I got to go see Pentatonix, and they were amazing.
Should have seen them in Fargo. They had their biggest show of all time, like a few months ago in Fargo.
Yeah, they did a couple months ago. We went right before we got married. Kyle and I got to go, and it was so good. They're just so absolutely so talented. And they had an opener. I think their name was Vanity Kane. Does that sound familiar to anybody?
No.
They're a girls group that also does the acapella stuff, kind of like Pentatonix does.
That reminded me that we used to go see the Blenders when they would
every
come to
year.
town too.
Yep.
And they were all wrapped up in the holiday glow.
We love the Blenders.
The Blenders are great. They're fantastic.
Still do that. And I haven't been there in many years.
I think I went like 10 years in a row because Kelly's mom and dad would always have tickets, and so she'd take me every year, and we went every single year. And then there was one year, actually, I went in college with my friend Kara, and we wanted to go up to him and say hi after, and we did. And one of the Blenders looked at me and said, "You played Belle in Beauty and the Beast at Shanley." And I was like, "How do you know that?" David Casper, who was the Beast, it's his uncle, Tim Casper.
One of the Blenders?
Is one of the Blenders.
What a legend.
And so he looked at me and he was like, "You played Belle." And I was like, "How do you remember that?"
Weird.
But he did. He knew who I was.
Do people know who the Blenders are? Or is it just us?
It's they're Midwest, so anyone in the Midwest would probably know.
I assumed, again, naively, like I always do, that people know who these people are.
Yeah, not really.
You don't know All Wrapped Up.
The holiday clothes.
They don't know that?
Probably
you
not.
don't know All Wrapped Up?
Yeah, I think they mainly do Minnesota and North Dakota shows, maybe some South Dakota. But
that's just crazy. I hate to hear that. You guys got to get on the Blenders.
They're fun. They're very fun.
Yeah,
on the Blenders train.
Blenders train. Get in the blender is what they say. What did you say your best concert was? Pentatonix is what you're saying?
No, I think my best concert was either John Bellian or Andy Grammer, which we all went to that.
I have John Bellian written down like last because I had forgotten about that for somehow. One of my favorite artists, top 2, maybe top 1 ever. And we saw him at the
Armory in Minneapolis.
The big, it's like an air.
It's huge.
What are those things called at an airport? It's a hangar. It's like a big hangar.
Yeah.
And it was sweet. We brought Dominic. Shout out Dominic.
Yep, Dom was with us. Jaden was with us.
Yep. Jaden wasn't really into John Bellian, and Dominic had never even heard of him. And they both came out of it like, wow, that was awesome.
Yeah. That was a light show.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh, yeah. Gotta.
At what point, I remember we all got a little scared because everyone was jumping and it felt like the floor was going to give out.
That's how the Armory always is.
I went to the artist formerly known as Mike Stud. It's awkward just calling him Mike because that's what he goes by now, but it's like, who are you talking about? Mike? Who could that
Mike
be?
who?
Yeah.
So Mike, lowercase Mike dot at the Sanctuary Event Center in Fargo. And they said the same thing where like everybody was jumping and the floor was bowing. And Mike had to say, you guys have to stop because the floor is going to crack and give out.
Can you imagine? It could have. It actually could have.
At the Sanctuary, it could have.
That's one of those things that like you think the person's up on stage like, yeah, guys got to stop jumping. It's going to break the floor. And he was like, they're really adamant about you guys not jumping anymore. Like, we're going to have to leave if you don't stop jumping.
Just a buzzkill, but that's okay.
So we saw him twice there. And once we were down right against the gate in the front, very front row, and we got on Touring's Boring and all that stuff that they used to do. And then the second time we were like, we're not doing that again because it was rough being in the front.
Yeah.
And we sat up in the balcony and it was awesome up there.
Yeah.
It was like 21 plus. Everybody was super chill, just kind of seated.
And you can have drinks and stuff up there.
Have drinks. Yeah. It was awesome being up in the back. So it's 2 completely different experiences for the same concert, basically.
Yeah.
And both were great.
Yeah, it's cool to have both experiences for sure.
I'm long past getting in the pit.
Yeah, like, I'm not really into that. It was fun for a while, but I'm not really into it anymore.
I love it.
You're still in that age
different.
though that
the way I go to concerts, you guys would be like, this guy's a psycho.
Yeah, you're the guy that would stand in front of everybody. You're like
I'm
9
the guy
feet tall.
that gets out of there with my money's worth and I'm sweaty and I have no voice.
Yeah, but I feel like I'm getting what I want is to sit and listen.
And
That's
enjoy.
what I want. Yeah.
You want to enjoy, he wants to experience.
It depends on what show you're at. Like if you're at like a Justin Bieber show, you can just like sit and watch because it's like a spectacle. But when I went to like 3 Days Grace, I came out of there with claw marks and scars.
Unbelievable.
It's like not even at all what I
so
want to
great.
do.
Nope.
Not even at all.
Sweaty.
We saw the legend Jason Derulo.
And it was 100 degrees outside.
So hot.
Not my jam.
For what it's worth, when Jason came out, he really went all out.
Yeah, it
And
was fun to watch him.
He's a freak. He dances like nobody dances.
Yeah.
He's built like nobody's built.
Yeah.
And who's doing? They're doing flips in his jean jacket.
Yep.
And he was singing his heart out, and he's great.
Right.
Like one of the best performers.
He's a
ever.
good performer.
Yes, but it's like Jason, we're out here.
Oh my
Jason!
gosh, it just was.
Jason!
He was
We're
so
waiting,
late that it
Jason.
just pissed me off so bad that I couldn't really enjoy the concert after that, and I sat there angry the
You
rest
should
of
have
the
gone
time.
to the side stage and watched Alex instead.
Should have.
He was performing that
Absolutely
night.
should have.
I would say one of the weirdest concerts we ever went to is when we went and saw Alex at like
at the church.
yeah, that church.
Every single concert we've talked about is like a Christian band or at a church.
Yeah, and
Sanctuary
Alex,
events.
Alex is not like a Christian artist.
No.
It was just like
He played it clean though.
he did a really good job. He was just like in like the lobby of a church.
Yeah.
Like we weren't in like any sort of sanctuary. He was just like in the lobby of a church, and there was like 40 people there, and like
Yeah.
everyone was like, I don't know who this kid is, but
They were
kind of
vibing with it. They were vibing.
This kid's pretty good.
Am I correct in it was supposed to be in the parking lot, but there was going to be rain?
Yeah,
so they
it was
moved
like terrible
inside.
weather.
They moved it into just like the entry of the
Well, he was
church.
supposed to be at some like park. We were at a park across town, and he
Yeah.
texted me. He goes, "Yo,
Oh,
we
yeah,
changed
they
to this
moved it.
church." And I was
Yeah,
like,
churches
oh.
will let you in for free. That's probably
Yeah,
why.
so he's like, I guess I'm playing here now.
And they had a food truck outside, so it was supposed to be
Yeah.
like
An
a picnic in the
actual
park
event, yeah.
concert thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we ended up in the church. But he also crushed it. It was just
He's
him
very
and his
talented.
keyboard,
Yeah, he's good.
and he was ripping off runs. He was doing his thing.
Yeah, he's good.
Oh yeah, you said he played at the fair, but that
Yeah,
was
he played
during
the night
Jason
of Jason.
Derulo.
I think it kind of overlapped, but he was like a little bit after. So like you watch Jason, and then you kind of walk out and go to Alex's stage.
I have one more, and then we can go into our draft. But one more almost concert. Grandma for Christmas had bought me tickets to go see Idina Menzel, like the Idina Menzel, Elphaba and Wicked,
I
the Idina
remember
Menzel,
this.
right?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
She was doing a Christmas tour where she was
Adele
just, I
Nazim.
think, Adele
Adele
Nazim.
Nazim, you mean?
Yeah.
Adele Nazim.
Yep, Adele Nazim. And she was just doing like a little Christmas concert in the Twin Cities. And so Mom and I drive down, and all three of us were going to go to the show. And then we're sitting there, and I get an email on my phone that said, "Thanks for coming to the concert. Let us know about your feedback." And I was like, "What?"
We didn't go.
I was like, we didn't go to a concert. The concert's tomorrow." And we looked at the tickets, and we had missed the
That's
concert.
just so
Yikes.
upsetting.
Yeah, it was Mom.
How does that happen?
Mom and Grandma were beside
That's
themselves.
trash.
Beside themselves.
So many eyeballs looked at the ticket
Yeah.
and still
And just it
slipped
just
through.
didn't click, because once you put it in your calendar, you don't think that it's wrong.
Yeah.
And we were sitting in Minneapolis in Grandma's living room when I got the
Mom had another panic moment because my favorite Christian artist is Matt Maher, and Chris Tomlin and Matt Maher apparently were at the XL. So Mom bought me and her tickets. We drove down there, and then I was looking at the tickets. Like, there's no mention of Matt, not at all.
Thought?
She like maybe had seen something that she thought Matt was going to be there. I was like, there's no mention of Matt on here. We get to the show, all Chris, no Matt. Nothing is saying Matt. There's no evidence that he's going to be there. I'm like, are you sure he's going to be here? And she's like, honestly, at this point, no. Like I don't know. And we get up there and we're sitting in our seats, and then Matt Maher comes out. I'm
Oh,
like,
what the heck?
Yeah, I was like, I don't know why there was zero like Chris Tomlin with Matt Maher, Chris Tomlin and Matt Maher.
Yeah,
Just like,
he's big enough to where he
yeah, I
should
was
have
like,
been
he's
mentioned.
a big. I don't know. It was
thought
very
maybe
weird.
you were
She
gonna
was like
say-
panicking. She's like, I brought this guy all the way here.
Yeah.
We drove 4 hours to the city so he could see Matt. Not that Chris was
Yeah,
great
you
too,
said
but-
Chris was awesome.
Yeah, he was very good.
I thought
but-
maybe it was one of those where like people tour together, but sometimes they're not in the same city.
Yeah, maybe that
Yeah.
was what it ended up looking like. But no, he came out.
Speaking of that, there's a few concerts that I was supposed to go to. I have them written down, but then they got canceled. First of all, when I was like a 7th grader, I was supposed to go see 303 with Drew.
Oh, yeah.
And they canceled hours before the show. And I was
Unfortunately,
devastated.
when I used to work in like booking concerts, I have seen a lot of stuff that says 303 is one of the best live shows you can go to.
Oh,
They would be
and that was in
fun.
the
Apparently,
heart
they
of
are
it.
insanely good live.
That would have been so much fun. So we were really heartbroken. It was literally like maybe 3 hours before we were supposed to go, and they were like, "Yeah, not doing it." So that was terrible. I was gonna go see Flo Rida
Oh, fun.
at the Blue Stem.
Yep.
That would have been kind of odd.
No, it would have been
Flo
so
Rida
much
at
fun.
an outdoor like wholesome venue.
Flo Rida is wholesome. Flo Rida is awesome. I
He
love
the best
himself might be
venue in
wholesome,
town,
but like
too.
a lot of his music is like
No, it's
you're at the
fun.
OB.
It would have been so much fun. And I think he was touring, and Time Flies was maybe going to open for him at that show. But then the other one, the last one that I was supposed to go to was Lil Dicky. Jaden got me tickets for our anniversary.
Oh,
or
he'd
something.
be fun.
I remember
And then
that.
he canceled his whole tour, so we didn't get to go to that. So those were the 3 that I missed out on.
I remember
would be
when she
fun.
bought you those tickets.
I was pretty excited for that.
Ed Sheeran has got to be one of the best concerts you've ever
He's
been to.
top 2.
for certain.
It's him and John.
Yes.
Yeah, probably.
And Andy Grammer
Andy
does a
Grammer
good
was
job.
Andy's also
amazing.
insanely good. He's my second favorite artist ever, but Ed Sheeran was
He's
better live.
unbelievable.
He was more like, holy cow, that was I'll never forget that show.
Yeah.
We used to do at Concordia when I went to Concordia College. They do Cornstalk in the spring, which is a big concert thing, and MKTO came one year, which was a lot of fun, and then Chitty Bang came.
Oh,
one
Chitty,
year.
they're
remember
another
that.
one
That's
that's like
another one was like
no one
when
will appreciate.
No one
Yeah.
will appreciate Chitty
Yeah,
Bang
Chitty
other
Bang
than
was
our kind
cool.
of group of people, and I loved it. That was another one where I was like in the front, sweat, drenched in sweat,
Yeah.
like Chitty Bang, Chitty Bang. I love Chitty Bang.
Yeah.
And
I
they
listened
did
to
all the
Opposite of
songs.
Adults probably 5,000 times.
Opposite of
growing
Adults is
up.
great, but my favorite Chitty Bang song is Talking to Myself, and it's not even a song that they should have had any business playing, but they played it at Cornstalk, and I about thought I was going to float off into heaven. Like, it was the best day of my And then they like, everyone was going up on stage.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
I can't remember, I don't know what his name is, but he was like, come on up, like, get up here,
Oh,
Concordia,
wow.
get up on stage.
What the heck?
And then it was like, ah! So everyone's
Everyone's
up on the
losing
stage,
it.
like, woo! Best night of my life. I have to list off a couple more of these that were fun. Post-traumatic funk syndrome.
They're so fun. Every time they
just
play, it just makes
the
me
local
happy.
man.
The local group.
They do great. Talking about Kelsey, we talked
Yeah.
about her. She does stuff with
And
them.
Josh, our old music teacher.
Yep, Josh Argyle. He does
rips,
it too.
He rips sax.
He is great.
He plays trombone in there. He gets all the instruments. He plays them all. And they go absolutely bananas.
They are fun to watch. Very fun to watch.
And we saw Casting Crowns at the Fargo
At the Dome.
At the
I got
Dome.
to see them at Blue Stem this summer too, and that
They're
was a
really
good
good.
concert at Blue Stem.
They're pretty
Perfect.
darn
Yeah,
good.
see, that sounds right. Not Florida.
Yeah.
Don't be hating on Florida.
I'm not hating on Florida. It doesn't seem right.
The Casting
Yeah,
Crowns
you're
was
right.
a perfect fit for Blue Stem. Perfect.
Can I just paint a picture of you for Florida you get a bunch of big old beach balls bouncing around in Blue Stem while he's singing his
That's true.
song?
That's fun. That's
Now
fun.
we're talking.
Yeah.
You get everyone clapping on 1 and 3 at Blue Stem.
Yeah.
Now we're talking. Now
For
we're
those of
having
you
fun.
who are like, what's Blue Stem? It's an outdoor amphitheater in Moorhead, and it's beautiful, stunningly beautiful. It's huge. Like, I don't know how many seats, but it's pretty big, and there's like a huge kind of cabana-y type roof over the
Yeah,
whole
the
thing.
cover for
It's
when it
very
rains.
cool.
It's awesome. It's my favorite venue that I've seen a show at.
Yeah.
I think Greg also got to see Lauv in concert, right? He opened for Justin Bieber when you went to go see Justin Bieber a second time. Is that true? Or Ed
Lauv?
Sheeran. I mean, Ed Sheeran. You went to
Lauv
see
was
Ed
at Ed Sheeran. Yeah.
Lauv
Lauv
opened for Ed
and
Sheeran.
Anne Marie.
And Anne Marie?
Yeah.
What a concert. Jaden and I
Yeah.
saw
Oh,
the
no.
Jonas Brothers.
Nope. That's
Yeah,
not
you
right.
got to with the Jonas
It
Brothers
was
too.
okay. So Lauv and Anne Marie were alternating like shows
Oh,
on the
you saw
tour.
Lauv.
I saw Lauv. The other one was Snow Patrol. They do Chasing Cars.
Oh, I know Snow Patrol.
Yep. So that's
Huh.
definitely what happened.
Jaden and I saw the Jonas Brothers in
I saw the
St.
Chili
Paul.
Peppers too. And you know what? They came to Fargo, North Dakota, and they didn't sing Danny California, the one song that mentions North Dakota.
What the heck?
And like one of their hugest songs of all time.
Why
They
would
didn't
they not sing Danny
They didn't sing Danny
California?
California. They didn't sing Under the Bridge.
Whoa!
Like, y'all are tripping for not singing. Like, what are we doing? I get it. You've been doing this for 40 years. You're probably sick of them, but like,
Yeah, I can't-
we are
every
paying
show.
to see you play Under the Bridge and Danny California and Scar Tissue.
I
It's like,
wonder if did they have new music out? And they're
They
like, we got to
played-
test the new music.
yeah,
in
they
Fargo.
played some new stuff and just some stuff, and I was like, nah. Unfortunately, I love the Chili Peppers. It was probably like a C show.
Fargo is a great city because you'll sell out. Because
Yes.
Yeah.
there's not much to do. So
Yeah.
like when a good concert comes to town,
You'll sell out.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there
Should
you
we
go.
do our draft?
Yeah, are we all done? Are we done talking about concerts?
How far are
42
we
minutes
in?
in?
42.
42.
I think we should do our draft.
Yeah, we certainly should.
How are
Okay.
we going to decide who goes first to flip your phone again?
So like the first one we did was celebrities you want to hang out with, and I immediately took Post Malone.
I said Colin Mockery and Martin Short.
And Scott is trying to figure out
What the
he
topic
needs to be
is.
drafting for, and then he gets to hop in at any time. He could wait until we're completely done, or he could go off rip, and then he takes all 5 that he wants.
So far, we've done topics that are pretty hard to guess. I mean, like not blatantly obvious. So we've all kind of waited to jump in.
Mm-hmm.
Today, I think you might be able to jump in early.
Okay, well,
So we'll see.
we shall see.
We'll
Who's
see.
heads and who, Greg, you want to be heads? Laura want to be tails?
Yep.
It's heads. Greg
That's
goes
me.
first.
Greg,
Yep.
I can guarantee you Greg is going to say the one that's my number one. I can
Well,
guarantee
yeah,
you.
there's a 1-1.
Yes.
There's a clear
I
1-1.
wanted to go first so bad.
All right. I'm going to take the one that I would argue low key like changed mine and Scott's perspective on life.
And mine. That's why I
boy,
know
what
it's
is
going to be
this?
the one he
Club
picks.
Penguin?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Club Penguin.
I'll take RuneScape. No, The Greatest Showman.
Yeah. I knew he was going to take it.
Yeah, I will wait, obviously, because
Yes.
there's a few things that it could be, but
I'll take one and
Okay,
see if you
take
want to.
one.
I'm going to take Wicked.
I want you to take another one because I think maybe you're trying to screw with me.
And then I'm also going to take Joseph in the Amazing Technicolor
You're
Dreamcoat.
trying to screw with me, and I don't trust what you're up to. Okay, let me think really hard
All right,
about
so
what I
far,
wanna
so
do
far we
here.
have The Greatest Showman,
Yes.
Wicked,
Yep.
and Joseph.
Okay, I'm gonna jump in. I'm gonna draft all 5.
Okay.
And it's gonna be a
He's
bad
going to steal a
idea.
bunch of stuff, I'm guessing.
The first one I'm going to draft is High School Musical.
Okay.
The orig. I also love High School Musical 3, and I did see that in theaters, and it made me think about transferring schools, even though I had no intention of doing that. But I thought, what if I did that? What if I just
That's
transferred
what
schools?
my Instagram bio for years has been. I would have been better off at
East High.
Hollywood Arts or East High.
I see the smirks on your faces. You're trying to throw me out. You're doing some weird thing where it's like you wanted me to think it was a one set, but we continue anyway. Number 2, I am going to say, with the utmost certainty, Coco.
Okay.
Disney Pixar's Coco.
Okay.
Then the third one I'm going to say is Rent. I'm going to say Rent. And for my number 4, I'm going to say, man, it's tough because I didn't have any time to think about what these could be. So I might not even be picking
Yeah,
ones
it's crazy
that I like.
what your list would be if you thought about it. It's just insane.
know.
Yeah, that
Different
wedding
things.
songs one, I would have been.
Yeah.
I would have cooked that one if
Yeah.
I would have had
I
more
am-
time.
I am going to say another Disney musical classic, Aladdin and the King of Thieves.
What?
And the King of Thieves.
Yeah, what the
He
hell?
could have
You just
stopped
sold.
himself at Aladdin.
You just sold.
Just
Self-sabotage over
Just
there.
in case. And now I'm going to say, what if I went back and changed it to Aladdin instead of Aladdin and the King of Thieves?
I mean,
Are we going to let him?
I don't know that we should just because we reacted poorly.
Yeah, because now he knows.
Like he said an answer.
But I didn't confirm and lock it in.
Scott?
Well, I think if the committee says no,
You
I
didn't
think
say final
you
answer.
answered.
Didn't say final answer, though.
think
The
We're gonna-
tribe has spoken.
We're gonna have to
Pick
put our
number
foot
5.
down.
Okay, and then the last one I'm gonna say, man, there's a few that I want to say, but I'm not really even fans of. I'm just saying them because I think they fit the category. So I'm not gonna say that one either. And I'm gonna say High School Musical 3.
All right. Now you get to
Skipping
pick.
over High School Musical 2?
No,
Yeah,
you
High
get-
School Musical 2 is really good, but High School Musical 3 has Scream
Which one has Gotta Go My Own Way?
2.
Oh, come
And
on.
it has Every Day. And it has You Are the Music in Me.
Yeah, You Are the
and
Music in
I
Me
really
is
actually
re-
made the wrong decision just now.
Well, King of Thieves was
I was
worse.
just
So.
thinking
King of Thieves was absolutely worse.
Scream is in High School Musical 3, and that
Yeah.
one is on
Oh, Boys Are
Unbelievable.
Back.
Boys Are Back.
That one's fun.
High School Musical 3 is a
High School-
very,
yeah, it's
very
not
good.
Too tight, it makes me look weird.
Yep.
What's that one? The prom one. Prom
Tonight
one's
is the night
Oh,
of nights.
yeah.
good. Pretty good. And then what's the one that they sing? What's the one that they sing at the end? I got a lot of things I have to do.
Oh.
All these distractions, our future's coming soon. We're being pulled 100 different directions. No one knows the name of this song?
I don't know the name of it, no.
Well, that's the other one that's really good.
Yeah. Every song in High School Musical 3 is good.
Yeah,
Every single one.
of course. So
All right,
anyway,
Greg
pretty
gets to
good-
pick 2
pretty good
now.
draft, in my opinion. Now
2.
he's like Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah, exactly.
Movies that have a green cover.
Yep.
Shrek 2.
Second one for me is kind of a layup. I will do Dear Evan Hansen.
That's
Okay.
the one I was gonna say, but I was like, I don't really like the movie.
Oh, I
It's
love
so-
it.
The music
so
is good, but I
depressing.
don't like the movie.
I loved it.
Yeah, it's so
the music
depressing.
is amazing.
Do you know that that's like the hottest take of all time? By the way,
What?
do you know that literally nobody agrees with you?
Yeah,
with what you
everyone
just said
everyone says that Dear Evan Hansen was not good.
was like the worst thing that's ever
Really?
been made.
Oh, I
Yeah.
loved it.
Mhm.
And I kind of thought it was all right.
Devin from the Cramer games loved it.
The music from Dear Evan Hansen is S tier.
Yes.
The
very good.
movie itself, trash, I thought.
I just
Yeah,
listened to the soundtrack
Yeah,
over and
the
over.
soundtrack
Yeah.
is great. Yeah,
Yes.
the movie. Yeah,
and
like-
just Ben Platt, he's great.
I will go.
why did I
with-
say Aladdin and the King of Thieves?
You
I don't know
shouldn't
why
have.
you
That was
did.
crazy.
You could have stopped yourself at Aladdin.
I'll tell you why. Can I explain why I said that?
Mm-hmm.
I thought that maybe you were doing some weird specific thing where it was like just one song from like
Oh.
a movie.
Yeah.
Like, oh, movies with
a life-changing song or
yeah,
something.
because he said the Greatest Showman thing. So I'm like, okay, my favorite Disney song is Out of Thin Air from
Yeah.
Aladdin and the King of Thieves.
Yeah.
And then they said it was a bad answer.
But remember how I said at the beginning, I think you'll be able to jump into this one.
You live and you learn.
I think this is the best answer, and she's most likely to say it. I'll say Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, that was what I was going to say. Okay, I'm going to say The Lion King. I'm also going to pick Grease.
Yeah.
Oh, Grease.
That was
I kept
on
thinking
my list, too.
Hairspray.
Hairspray is
I
also-
don't really like Hairspray that much, though.
Hairspray is also really good music, though.
Yeah, they got some good ones. Without Love is a banger.
Yep. And Good Morning Baltimore.
Yeah, it's all right.
I want Mulan. I feel so good about taking Mulan.
Mulan.
Let's
Interesting.
get
I would not have
down
picked
to
Mulan.
Mulan's such a
Business.
good. Mulan's great.
To defeat.
Is this your last one?
Yeah. Go. I'm torn here. Oh, I love Andrew Garfield.
He's thinking Tick, Tick, Boom.
He's so good.
I thought Greg would have that on his list.
He's so good, and the music's so fun. The story is cool. Yeah. I'll do Tick, Tick, Boom.
Which ties in with Rent. Which
I overthought this.
You did, and
Clearly.
I told you it was going to be a layup.
I was like,
okay.
there's no way they stop it at musicals. It's got to be more than that.
It's
gotta
a
be
little bit.
something
It's a little bit more than. It's a little bit more than that.
One
Well,
more
then we'll see.
aspect.
Maybe
My
you're
last
good.
one is Annie, specifically
Yeah, I figured.
with Kathy Bates and Victor Garber.
It's a hard knock life.
I also
So
had Annie
the
on one.
topic was musicals that are also movies.
Yeah, they have to
Okay,
have
sure.
a movie version.
Yes, they have to have a movie version
Yeah,
of it.
I got all those then.
Yep.
Hey, I didn't do. Okay, other than Aladdin not being Aladdin, I had good picks.
You had a very good
Yeah,
list.
you
Rent
did.
is a banger.
Very good
and
list.
The two High School Musicals,
Yep.
kind of a cop out. And then what was my other one?
Coco.
Coco.
Yeah, so Coco is not technically a musical, though, is
No,
it?
yeah, it is. Of
They
course
just
it
have a
is.
good soundtrack. I don't know
No,
if that's a
they sing the
musical.
whole time. They're singing the whole dang movie.
Is Coco a musical, though?
Is it not?
Is it?
How could it not be?
I'm trying to think. Are they singing in the plot line, or is there just songs?
No, they're singing in the
Yeah, they're singing in the
throughout
Are
the
they?
movie. I mean, mostly he's got a guitar. They're
Yeah.
singing, they're performing.
Yeah, they sing words. Like
Yeah.
That'd
like
be
they're
like
speaking.
saying, is Pitch Perfect not a musical? I think Pitch Perfect is a musical, but they're never just like singing. They're always singing in the context of a show.
Yeah.
I should
guess
have said Pitch Perfect.
my brain was thinking more like how Beauty and the Beast is a Broadway musical and it's also a movie.
When
you
I
know,
think
that's kind of what I
musical,
was
I think
Greatest Showman's a Broadway musical coming to I think the UK first and then the US. The UK this summer. And then it's also a movie.
Was that an ad?
Yeah, what
Did
the
they pay
heck
you
was
to say
that?
that?
like it's actually going to be a live show, I'm saying. Going to be a live show this summer.
This episode
And then-
is brought to you by
The
And
Greatest
yeah,
Show.
the rest of them
Greatest Show
are all
Broadway.
live shows.
starring
and
Hugh Jackman
movie.
No,
Wouldn't
I
that be
think a
something?
musical is when there is music throughout, but you're just switching dialogue for singing. So I wouldn't say Pitch Perfect is a musical by any means. They're just singing songs.
I think you've said a lot of off the wall things today, and we need to bring it down.
That's
think-
not off the
I
wall.
think
That's
what
what a
I said
musical
is valid.
Is when they're speaking to each other while singing. That's
Yeah,
not Pitch Perfect.
I think a movie that is full of music and the main characters are singing said music.
Is the Lady Gaga one a musical?
Joker 2.
No.
What are you? Oh,
Star is Born.
Born. Yes.
But they're not singing to each other. They're just singing songs as artists. Just because there's songs in a movie. I mean, there's songs in Shrek.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
they're not
Shrek
singing
is an
them.
actual Broadway musical, though.
But yeah, but that's not the movie. The movie
Right.
isn't the musical. Like Shrek, starring Michael Myers.
But your
Great
answer
movie,
would have
by the
had to
way.
have been Shrek the Musical because there is a movie version of Shrek the Musical. Kyle shows
Is
it every
there?
year. Yep, he shows
Yeah,
it every
there
year to
is.
his fourth
Oh,
graders.
man.
Yeah, there is.
So you're telling
Shrek
me
was
that
on my list.
Coco doesn't count for me?
No, I think it does. I think they are speaking to each other when they're singing.
I think I'm going to break your heart, but I don't think Coco counts.
Because
Because I don't know.
Can I
Because, hold on.
cannot believe
They can't
what
hear
I'm
you.
hearing right now.
They can't hear you.
And you understand.
Let me
You
see.
get it. You think this is crazy too,
Is
right?
You're scaring
Coco?
Louis.
For anyone to say Coco's not a musical is outlandish and insane.
Yeah, but I guess when you were making your list, were you thinking more of like a legitimate musical, right? That's kind of what you were thinking.
Like on stage?
Yeah,
I don't know. Kind
like
of.
that can be a musical.
But like, I don't think Mulan is performed on stage, and I took that. Maybe
think
it is.
Mulan is
Yeah,
performed
maybe it
on
is,
stage.
Actually, I don't know.
I genuinely can't believe what I'm hearing.
I know
right now.
FMCT did it. So do you think just music involved in it is what makes it a musical?
I think it's like so obvious when it is or when it isn't.
Yeah.
I feel like, yeah, there's a song in the SpongeBob SquarePants movie, but I don't think the SpongeBob SquarePants movie is a musical. But like Coco is a musical.
Is
Are we
Tarzan?
crazy?
I think Coco could absolutely.
No, because the characters are not singing in Tarzan.
Yeah, but it has iconic soundtrack.
Tarzan actually
so
does
Shrek.
have a musical version.
See, that's what I'm saying. Is like the music is the biggest aspect of Tarzan, but it's not like the characters are
isn't.
doing
I
it.
think in
Everyone watches Tarzan for Phil Collins.
I think in
This
the
man has
next.
said so many things to that.
Though
We gotta lock
the
this
world
man
will
up.
agree on that. That's
locking him
99% to 1.
Here, let me
Tarzan
say-
is watched for the soundtrack.
Let me
That
say
is-
some-
I will die
Let
on
me
that
say
hill.
something to Scott's benefit. I think that within the next 10 years, Coco will be made a stage show. However, it hasn't been made a stage show yet. And that's kind of what I think what we were thinking along the lines of with
If we're going to
musical.
sit here and pretend like Tarzan isn't watched for the music, I can't do the show anymore.
Can I?
That's an insane take out of Scott. And I need you to back me up because you know I'm right. It is, the music carries
Let
Tarzan.
me
Yes,
say
it does.
what I'm gonna say.
Oh, no.
Can I say something?
The comments
Can
are going
I
to
finish?
they're
Can
going to
I
eviscerate him for that
finish?
take.
Can I finish? I am saying one thing. Laura is saying something else, and Greg is saying something else. I am saying a movie, you feel it in your bones when it's a musical. You know it. The characters on screen are singing songs throughout the whole dang thing.
And I-
This is what Laura is saying. Laura is saying if it hasn't been put to stage, a la Oliver Putnam, it doesn't count. And Greg is saying if they're not singing their grocery list, then it doesn't
I'm
count.
saying the exact opposite of that.
No.
And I agreed, by the way, immediately that Coco was an okay pick.
I just don't. I think it was your weakest other than Aladdin because those other ones are already stage shows. Aladdin itself is a musical for sure.
Yeah.
I just don't know if The King of Thieves is.
King of Thieves is.
I don't remember that
Certainly
movie at
is.
all.
Don't you guys ever listen to Out of Thin Air from
No.
Aladdin and the King of Thieves?
Yeah.
What a banger.
Yeah.
Top #1 Disney song of all times. I would say with my heart of hearts, Pitch Perfect is a musical.
Oh, they're literally just singing covers of pop songs, though. If I have a musical playlist on my Spotify and it's got Dear Evan Hansen and Hamilton and Rent and all these, if I had Pitch Perfect in there and I was playing this on shuffle, someone would be like, "What the? Like, why do you have Troublemaker's finale in this?"
Why do you have Anna Kendrick singing "Don't You Forget About Me"?
Like that's not a musical.
Yeah, it's weird because when you take it out of the context of the movie, it doesn't feel like a musical.
No.
But in the context of the movie, to me, it does.
This is one of my biggest pet peeves in the world is for anyone watching, they can't pitch their voice to us. And I know it's going to have someone's skin crawling.
They're screaming
I
at the
get
screen
so
right
mad
now.
if I see or Andrew Schultz actually, one time I was like, "Oh, I disagree with what you're saying and I can't tell you why I disagree with you." It makes my skin crawl. Yeah, that's one of my biggest pet peeves in the world is watching a podcast and not being able to say something.
It's funny because when I hear something I disagree with, I'm just like, oh.
Oh, it
I
makes my
do not
blood boil.
So here's one last final test. High School Musical.
Mm-hmm.
Say in the universe, no one ever turned it into a play that they do at local schools.
Mm-hmm.
Is High School Musical?
Oh, that's
a
the
Yes,
most-
because
that's
it's
the
literally
most
called
textbook.
musical.
Well, no, but
Yes,
that's the most textbook of them just breaking out into song
Yeah.
and talking to each other.
That's a musical for
This
sure.
I feel like no one else is gonna. So this is like when people say, "Oh, is a hot dog a sandwich?"
Yeah.
and it's like the internet is split for some reason.
Yeah.
this is gonna go out, and all 19 people are gonna agree on one opinion. And there's gonna be no split.
we weren't completely in agreement about what the topic niche was.
specific
Yes.
Well, either way, we have to assume that all of us fit the criteria for the sake of like voting on which one is the
Yeah.
best.
Apples to apples, or what are we doing?
Should we knock that out? Let us recount how many green cards we have. I have 2.
Greg has one too.
the creepy one.
It's been so long, I actually just didn't remember how many each of us had. That was not me bragging about having the most.
Can I just say I have absolutely garbage cards right now? All 7 of them are friggin' garbage.
What do we got? What's the green?
Refreshing,
Refreshing.
brisk,
This is just.
invigorating, rejuvenating, refreshing.
Okay.
This is the
Here's one.
worst.
That's not bad. I'll take that.
I'm not even.
Should
Nope.
I read them? Don't worry, I'll hype them all up. I'll make
Go
them
ahead.
all sound good. Refreshing. Going to grandma's. That one sucks. I'm just kidding. That is quite good.
Yes, that's
That
a
is
good
refreshing.
answer. That's a very
Going
good answer.
going to grandma's. I like that one quite a bit. Number 2, leaf blowers.
Whoa.
Now is the thought
That's a throwaway and a half.
blowing it in your face might be refreshing on a hot summer's day?
The thought is, when is this card ever going to win? I'm getting rid of it.
Whoever played this, is that what they were thinking maybe? That if you were on a hot summer's day, if you were to blow this in your face, it would be refreshing?
Yeah. But you could also
it.
refresh your driveway by getting all the leaves
100%.
off of it.
Yeah, so I think that one's also pretty good. And then this one says the South. Now, I'm not exactly sure why...
Let's wrap this up.
And that's
We're
where
going
my
to
sentence is
grandma's.
gonna end. This one is going to grandma's. Going to grandma's.
The South?
Yeah. Do you want to know what my other cards were, Greg? That one at least could be Florida.
Oh, you didn't play leaf blowers?
No.
No, I played leaf blowers.
Oh.
I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah. At least the South could incorporate going to Florida.
Yeah, I mean, taking a trip to the South.
Yeah.
And the
So it's not so
description
bad.
says, they're not like folks around here.
Oh, boy.
What does that mean? Apples to apples.
Boys around here.
Who wrote these?
Greg won.
Yeah, Greg gets the green on
Yeah,
that one.
grandma's.
Maybe after a certain amount, we can refresh all of our red cards.
Maybe once one of us wins like 5, we could just never do it again.
That's true. We
That
could
could
do
also
that too.
be. I don't
we could
know.
do that too.
It seems like a really fun little vibe, but it's been difficult. Oh, well then. What else is there to say?
I thought you were gonna end it.
I was going to
His
say...
chance to end it, and he doesn't end it.
say, I'll remember this. But
That's what I thought
I
you were gonna
decided
do.
not to.
That's what I thought you were gonna do.
no, I'm not going to say it this time.
Why not?
This time I'm not going to say, I'll remember this.
You won't say it, huh?
And then it'll hard cut right after that. Unless, well, Greg's editing, so I guess he gets to make the final decision.
Greg
on
is
that.
just.
I mean, I'm going to let this drag out as long as possible.
No. All right. Let's go.
Okay,
We're
bye.
done.
What about your family makes you happiest?
We're not starting a topic card.
I would say
Over an hour.
our ability to call it a day.
Yeah, we're really good at just ending things
Yeah, we just end it
at the natural ending point
right.
when it feels,
When things feel right to just be done,
and you say at the count of 3.
that is when we are in our prime.
So it's 1,
2,
and then when we
and
get
then when
to
we
3,
say 3, we usually don't count down as a family.
3.
We're just like standing at the door, putting our shoes on. All right, 1.
Okay, that's it. Goodbye.